Welcome to Dandy's Guidebook. On today's episode, the many ways to play Dandy's World. Dandy's World is a very simple game. Easy to learn, hard to master. Assuming you're not playing with Distractor every single run. With how simple Dandy's World is at its core, it was inevitable that people would make up their own alternate ways to play the game. From forcing people to use a loadout they're unfamiliar with, to making people stand still if their twisted is on the floor, to even cursing people with their own little challenges, Dandy's World players have thought of multiple ways to play the game. This video will be in two parts. This one, the one that you're seeing right now, is going to go in depth into what I like to call gimmick runs, while also telling the basic trio of runs. Part 2 will go more in depth into long runs, as I have made a few strategies that add sauce to the pasta. I do go in depth on at least the long run type. The way Dandy's World players commonly organize these runs are either going ABC for run in a public lobby, or getting level 6 in the Blush Crunch Discord server, and fighting the pillars. Upon pillars of long run, Mac Crusher, rarely casual, rarely gimmick bullshit. I hate team creation. I hate it so much. Like, imagine this, right? You're a developer, wanting people to play your game. However, your game is co-op based and they often don't have friends. So, you make a resource for them to be able to actually get people into their game, whether it be in-game or on the Discord. In-game, everything's perfectly normal. You don't go to Discord and then all of a sudden they build an entire f***ing judgment hall worth of advertisements and boosts to get those advertisements started. Oh my god! Granted, I'm not exactly innocent either, but at least it isn't whatever the fuck this is! Now, I know this is a bit of a tangent, but why don't we, like, compare the size to my advertisements real quick? Alright, so, due to me hosting long runs with a strategy, I tend to have some things. I have the title of the strategy along with strategy long run, the goal of the long run in general, the requirement stat-wise, then the region, and then like general info on the strategy, right? All of that is essential information I need. There's also rules you have to add in, and then you have all of your slots for all of your tunes that you want. No loadouts needed if you're using a Google Doc. Unfortunately, no one here knows how to use a Google Doc. Nobody at all. And that's not even to mention the absurd high floor requirements to even join some of these. Oh, look at me. You want to join my very pro long run? You make sure you have the highest floor of 80 or 60 or 70 or 100 or 150 or 125 or 200 or 500 or 1,000 or 1 million. Alright, now that the tangent is out of the way, or rant, or whatever you want to call that, here are the common run types that are done. Casual run, just standard Dandy's World. The ways most people play. No gimmicks, no floor goals. Just playing the game for the sake of the game. Or grinding. Mostly grinding. Dandy's World. I realized I put Dandy's a word in the script. God damn it. Dandy's World is a very grindy game, but unfortunately that's what we have to do on Roblox to keep people playing, much to a lot of people's dismay. Dandy Run! Same concept as casual, but you instead piss off the shopkeeper by not buying so you can get his tasty research. Long Run! These are more serious than the average runs. These runs are designed mainly to inflate a number and make it higher, and often avoid boss encounters to accomplish said goal. Unfortunately, it's the most time-consuming, and you are almost never going to be able to complete a long run without at least one person going AFK for something life-related. Could be food, could be the bathroom, could be an emergency, or an unskippable side quest, as I personally prefer to call chores. Now, when they do, players will often auto-walk so the run can continue. Unfortunately, though, this feature tends to be only exclusive to PC. Otherwise, you're kind of forced to wait on them to get back, which can be seriously awful if they had to go AFK on a floor with, like, Twisted V or something. Long runs tend to run the same meta shit of 2 pebbles to kites, 5 shellies to make the machines don't, and sprouts to fix any f***ups from the distractor's end. That team comp I just described is called a mock crusher, and from my experience, the best way I can describe it is pasta with no sauce. Because yeah, I can satisfy hunger, but it's f***ing bland. Now that we're done with the basic bitch trio, it is time for us to go on to the self-imposed challenges, which I personally like to call Gimmick Runs. Gimmick Runs are commonly done to add more flair to casual runs, because while the gameplay loop of Dandy's World can be pretty satisfying to pull off thanks to the skill checks and stuff like that, the gameplay can get very tedious thanks to how long the machines take and how awful the twisted AI is, to the point where you are constantly having to deal with mental damage from them. The distractor style of gameplay also doesn't exactly help the game itself because of the fact that it makes the gameplay boring on account of the twisteds just not existing. Randomizer. Before the run begins, you are given a random loadout to do the entire run with. That's it. Randomizers are very simple to do. Unfortunately, doing one causes patient issues thanks to modern day attention spans being less than a f***ing goldfish, and people can't wait for everyone to get their loadout. Hell, you don't even have to host one, just randomize yourself and go to a public run, the same results can be grabbed. I mean, you might get put into the bad Dandy's World trinket subreddit, but who cares, it's the fun that matters. Curse run. Before the run begins, you get cursed with your own gimmick that you have to deal with. Most curse runs have curses that affect your communication while not exactly affecting the gameplay itself, but that's really my only gripe with this run type. But, as I say, if you want it done right, you should just do it yourself. And I have! Out of all the curses I have for this run, my absolute favorite is the one I call the Fisher, where you're forced to use fishing rod, and the items you get from fishing rod at the start are the only items you can use, buy, and pick up for the entire run. VIP. One person is a specific toon. They're usually Shrimpo, and everyone else has to make sure that they don't die or the run just straight up ends. These runs are commonly called Protect the Toon runs, but call it whatever you want. I end up combining this gimmick with the curse gimmick for maximum chaos. Oddly enough, it's fun when you have to protect someone while dealing with your own burdens. VIP runs are also really good for getting masteries done, since you can just hope your team can stay alive long enough for you to get mastery. When it comes to what I recommend having the VIP as, other than Shrimpo of course, I would personally recommend any 2-star speed toon like V or something. Mainly because of the fact that toons with 3-star movement speed or higher don't exactly need protection. They can really, in reality, just sustain themselves. Nightmare Run. Runs where you stand still into a panic mode if your twisted counterpart is on the floor. This is a very simple gimmick. Very boring gimmick as well. Seriously, if you actually decide to do one of these runs, hard limit the pool of toons to like common or uncommon. Otherwise, everyone will just pick rares and mains and the gimmick gets nearly invalidated. Then there's also Death Runs. Basically a Dandy's World Battle Royale with the whole concept of legal griefing. I'm someone who personally prefers to cooperate over fighting, so yeah, I'm never gonna do one of these runs, not even for this video. Army Runs. Everyone is the same toon. That's literally it. Tends to be the most entertaining with toons that have either shit survivability or shit extraction, which is why Shrimpo and Pebble tend to be popular picks for this. Now, those are the gimmicks that are commonly done, but I have some of my very own gimmicks that I do want to share. Personal belongings. Your loadout is your chosen toon's 100% research trinket and a trinket from Dandy's shop, a trinket that is from one of the lethals, or Blush Bat. This run type only affects the loadout, but it's honestly pretty chill to play, other than the occasional comment that the loadouts often look like a public run loadout. If you want me to recommend toons from this gimmick, don't use the butterflies, don't use Cole, obviously don't use Shrimpo. Exit and Rudy are also not really great for this gimmick, but they're all-rounders, so it doesn't exactly matter. And I mean all-rounders as in the even stat pool, not as in they can do everything the community wants. Insert anti-distractor propaganda here. Social interactions. Your loadout is your chosen toon's 100% research trinket and another toon's 100% research trinket that your toon interacts with during the card picking intermissions, with the twist that the toon has to actually be played by someone for the trinket to be available. For example, Toodles needs to exist for Dog Plush to be available. I used to have a Google Sheets chart for this run, but I gave up on maintaining it after the Yada update due to it going from a roughly even amount of green and red to basically green. With a tiny amount of red. Time Crunch. A Dandy run that is on a 5-minute timer, the timer gaining time on certain conditions, with the run ending after the timer goes off. The timer does pause during intermissions. This gimmick is for the people who thought, I want to play Dandy's World with my life on the edge 24/7. A timer that lets you add more time is required to make this gimmick work, which I found is annoyingly rare. Luckily, I found a phone app to use, but unfortunately that means I can't display the timer on OBS. Rift Collapse. A run on a 2-hour timer that gains no additional time in whatever way that you could. The run dying when the timer ends. Whole point just being to go as far as possible. Basically, this gimmick is just a long run on a timer. I'm gonna be honest with both of the timer gimmicks are literally ways to make Mac Rushers fun in a stressful kind of way, even if Mac Rushers can still be boring with the gimmick. Rift Collapse could also be considered just a more casual version of Time Crunch, even if you still can't really gain any time by any other means. When the standard gameplay loop gets boring or the same meta shit gets boring, Gimmick Runs can give you a nice new perspective on the way the game works, even if they're self-imposed challenges. It's the same kind of appeal that those challenge videos have. You know the ones I'm talking about. The ones where you try to beat the game without a key item, the ones that are basically just forcing you to only use one thing in the entire game, and whatever you can really think of, honestly. Anyway, that is all for this video. Subscribe and like if you enjoyed this and would like to see more. Comment some games or something for me to make guides or gameplay videos on in the future. Honestly, I am wanting to do Die of Death guides, so let me know if you want me to commit to that. This guide took me a while to make, and I did this entire project myself, from the art to the background footage recording. Need proof? Here, have the entire checklist that I had for things I needed to do for this video. As per usual, the music I used in this video will be in the description, and be sure to join me next time for the Season of Spooks and what kind of mysterious horrors Dandy has in store for us.